And now there's time for Q&A. Okay. We have one coming in. You want to read it, Engin? Then we address it.
I can read it now. And I see, are there any studies you can share about COVID-19 and ventilation, or COVID-19 and air elements that you mentioned today? Okay, this is a wonderful question. Thank you very much for the question. Maybe I can come back to the elements. There are three elements we talk about, and for the COVID-19, maybe again one of the most interesting one is PM2.5, because the source of PM2.5 many times comes from the exhaust gas, forest fires, and also any fire inside. And long exposure time to PM2.5 creates a big impact on people's lung and also the body. And there are some studies, those are talking about in the United States, they made some studies, nationwide studies. COVID-19 mortality rates and long-term exposure times are directly correlated. This is very interesting. And in Italy, there are some studies, and they found that on PM2.5 particles, they are possible to carry COVID-19 virus parts. Of course, the second study is in laboratory conditions. Maybe it's not possible to see that in normal conditions. But you can see those particles are everywhere, and they can carry something, because the particle size is 2.5 micron, and the virus size is for COVID-19 is about 1 micron. This is very critical, and that's why maybe there is no direct correlation between COVID-19 transmissions and PM2.5, but you can see those type of tiny things. If we can analyze different things together, and if we keep the data not in silos, in cloud, and they can be connected to each other, we can have much more information. And for the CO2 level, in many countries, in Europe, especially Germany, Belgium, and also in the UK and United States, they started to think about measuring CO2 level in the classrooms, restaurants, and people coming together, public areas. It is possible to create a better ventilation, because at the end, viral concentration is related to virus transmission. And with the good ventilation, we can reduce the viral transmission, and we can reduce the viral concentration. That's why you can see indoor air quality is directly related to fighting with COVID-19. For temperature and humidity, unfortunately, there is not a direct study directly related to COVID-19. There are some schools trying to do it, but we couldn't see any official study yet. But the previous studies show that, in general, especially for flu, seasonal flu, between 40 and 60% is ideal for human health, but less than 40 and over 60 is helping to viral transmission. I hope this is enough answer for your question. And if you need more, you can visit our web pages. Thank you.
There's one more question coming in, and
okay, how technology can make more comfort inside the building? For example, can it change or adjust temperature suite with individual requirements? Okay, this is a very good question again, and I can tell you, especially, maybe we should call this digital transformation, and pre-digital transformation, and after digital transformation era, we can call. because in the past, tailor-made designs for individuals was not that easy. But today's conditions with the cloud, with the IoT products, we can make better fine-tuning for almost for every individual, and from their mobile phones they can make an impact to their comfort in their room. And you can see this is very critical. For example, we have green leaf button in our many devices like thermostats or in our control systems. You can, with the green leaf option, you can see is your operation energy efficient or not. If it is not energy efficient, only by touching this button or icon, you can back to the energy efficient option. Now we are working for new technologies like this. Maybe in one button, you will have air quality option like this. And also your personal decisions can create a big impact on climate change and global warming. And you can see with the new technologies, also we can combine different topics together again, and we can create better algorithms. And according to people's daily life preparations, we can create better conditions for them, and we can reduce the energy, we can use energy more wisely. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Could I ask the question?
Okay, please.
You are the global marketing manager also for these products and solutions. So from this marketing point of view, where are the biggest markets? Do you see a difference globally in certain areas and continents where your products and technologies are more accepted or more asked for, or accepted easier, or is this a global trend where there are no differences? Because I mean, sometimes in Asia or Thailand, my feeling is air conditioning is only to make the office room so cold that I even have to wear a black sweater and nothing else. So especially, of course, I would be interested, what do you think, what is the acceptance and the demand for your products and solutions in Asia or even Thailand compared with other areas?
If you compare, many times it depends on the market maturity, because in many countries, the standards, the regulations, the investment decisions depends on many different directions. But I can say, first of all, in general, or in the past, we were more focusing on commercial applications, because Siemens has a unique opportunity to combine digital and physical world together and create a very multidisciplinary solutions for its customers. And many times we focused on commercial markets. And for the commercial markets, of course, Europe and the US was the biggest market in the past. But now there is a big trend. The Asia markets are really growing markets. But on the other hand, there is a big need for new buildings, because by 2050, as I mentioned, the world population will be 9.7 billion. It means extra 2.7 billion people will join us. And they will need new buildings, they will need new offices, and the market is really very big. In terms of this big market, where is Thailand? If we ask this question to us, first of all, maybe we should think about where is Thailand in terms of global warming or climate changes, because the location of Thailand is in between many, it's a very challenging situation to have. And that's why I believe that climate change and also air quality and using energy wisely will be an important topic for Thailand. And if we compare with the other markets, of course, the market size is always related to number of people, number of buildings. For example, I cannot compare China and Thailand in one market, but I can say Asian markets are the growing markets for us. And we see unbelievable developments. And we have some very specific products only for Asian markets. And I can tell you what is specific for those markets. We are combining different features together to one device. And in that area, such kind of devices, multiple sensors, multiple inputs, multiple outputs, thermostats, and such kind of devices are much more preferred by those markets. This is what I can say.
All right. Dr. Wai, is that answer your question?
Yeah, wonderful. If I may add another one.
Okay.
We have in Thailand also a representation of the Deutsche Gesellschaft für nachhaltiges Bauen, so the German Society for Sustainable Buildings. And as the German chamber, of course, I would like also to promote their building standards in comparison also with LEED or WEED or whatever there's out there. Who's actually driving the development? Are these organizations setting new standards for sustainable buildings, and you then find the solutions, or you come up with solutions and then the standards and requirements for these certifications will be upgraded or changed or improved, whatever? So, or is this, are you working hand in hand, or who's driving the development there?
It again depends on the region, because, for example, in European region, first some institutions, associations, and universities are starting to discuss such kind of topics. And according to their reports and information, European community or the local governments are starting to prepare some new standards. And during this period, they are asking to companies. For example, in Europe, there is a new standards are coming, EPBD, we are calling EPBD. It's mainly about renovating the old buildings, because in Europe we have very old houses, very old buildings. We need to improve their efficiency. And many years people work about this EPBD standards for the last maybe 10 years. And now we are coming to new standards. And of course, the standards will be applied by every country by themselves. And it will be maybe different applications, depends on the countries. Because many times, especially for the building market, local regulations are different, local weather conditions are different, and also air quality conditions are different. And that's why my personal view, the local standards and the local conditions should be evaluated very well by the local engineers. And then with the new technologies, they have to combine new technologies with their local requirements. This is the rule. And that's why it's not that easy to give this responsibility to one institution or one government. It should be a kind of mutual impact with people. And that's why today it's a great initiative you are doing, because most probably nobody tells you, do this. But you see the problem, you're coming together and you create something, and this created information maybe will trigger some other institutions and regulatory authorities.
Yeah, that's what we hope for. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Can you give us the last slide again? Because we know that Siemens is also part of our Clean Air Initiative, and you have Ross there with his contact, right?
Okay, this slide, or
no, the last one, the very with the contact information, because Yeah,
Thank
so
you
this
very
is Conlon Ross. He is, as we can see here, head of building products, smart infrastructure, and he's also member of our Clean Air Initiative. So it's good that we have also a contact here in Thailand, just in case we want to continue our discussion. Thanks.
Yes,
very
and
much.
in our Q&A, they just start to heating up. We have a few more open questions if you want to address them, Engin. We still have time.
Okay, I'm just looking now. How can we improve air quality ventilation of old high-rise building 20 years plus, as we have so many in Bangkok? It's a great question. And how your technology integrated with architecture and interior designs works. Do you have some samples? Thank you. Okay, first question, for existing buildings, this is very difficult, and it's also related to the second question, because when building design is done by architects and designers, they of course consider many things. But the point is, by time, what they are thinking could change, or new standards, new technologies, or new requirements can come. And old buildings many times struggle with this problem. And unfortunately, everything depends on the building's design from the beginning. And for example, in 1970s, energy efficiency was one of the most important topics. And very tight insulation is done, and many buildings had no windows for that period. And also the indoor air becomes biggest problem of the building. And in the beginning, I told many times 90% or over 90% of the building is air. And if you keep it inside without more fresh air, it created a big issue like sick building syndrome. And many buildings try to find a solution in that period. Today, now we have in a kind of era now, because in many countries, air quality becomes the building standards, and we should think about to use fresh air in a better way. And the opening windows is not the answer many times, because it should be conditioned by the system. I can tell you many times it requires an investment. And this investment may be not very cost effective for the investors, but I can tell you, if they compare what they are winning with this investment, they will see that always, this is very, I can very confidently tell this, it's also written many international associations documentation like EPA, always investing air quality is much more profitable than not investing to air quality. And that's why my answer to this question, the buildings should think about this topic, and if they need to invest, this investment will create a bigger impact and bigger benefit than their investment. This is what I can tell. And also, like the examples we mentioned, demand-based controlled ventilation examples, it also can create a big impact on their cost saving and also carbon neutral positions. That's why this is the only way to make investment and consider better air quality conditions.
Okay. Also, the question regarding the technology, have you addressed that already, Engin, or you want to provide the example here as well?
Yeah, this one, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. For example, in this example, maybe CO2 level not considered from the beginning of this investment, or PM2.5 maybe not considered. And it's very difficult to add such kind of measurements with the algorithm to existing bill. But if the company or if the investor changing the air handling units, with the air handling units, those improvements are very easy. And we have a very special OEM programs for the manufacturers, air handling manufacturers, and they can easily integrate their solution with the new measurements, new techniques, like PM2.5 add-on can give a chance for their demand controlled ventilation with active filtering. And this is just one sensor add-on. It's not too much cost for them, but with a good algorithm and also with cloud application, it makes their solution much more efficient and also much more profitable. Thank you. I think
All right.
No any question now, but if there is any
Yeah,
more
it was
question,
clear. All right. I mean, we will share, of course, a presentation, if you allow, Engin, to all the participants,
Yes,
and of
yes.
course, contact info is in there, also from yourself and also your colleague here in Thailand.
Okay.
Timing wise, very good. We still have a little bit of time left, so we managed the time quite well within 1 hour. Now everybody would join me for the closing remark by our Executive Director, Dr. Roland White, please.
Yeah, thanks to you, Engin, and of course to all the participants. Thanks for your active participation and your interest in today's webinar. I would also like to draw your attention to our Clean Air Initiative website, which is part of our GTCC website in the internet. There we upload recent articles, recent information, and I think it's worthwhile to have a look now and again. We also use our social media to keep you informed and give you updates. And then, of course, we are going to continue our webinar series on clean air. We have already scheduled monthly events until January next year. And in closing today's webinar, I would like to invite all of you to our next webinar, which will be held on the 12th of October from 2 to 3 with a representative from MAN Energy Solutions. And I would be very happy to see all of you then at this webinar. And yeah, let's keep our fight going for clean air also here in Thailand. Thank you very much, and then have a good afternoon. See you soon. Bye.